record in the cloud. And now we're going live.
Okay.
You should say live once we are live. I hope. Okay, and then we might have to go, yeah, it says live on Facebook. So then I would say, go to the Facebook group. Ladies, if you could see us, tell us hi. Oh my gosh, this is like my heart is beating out of my chest, like hoping this is gonna work. Okay, it's live. We're good to go. We got somebody, well, it's probably me watching. All right.
Hello.
We're gonna have to give like a disclaimer here, like don't watch the first like 2 minutes of anything we put out because it's probably like us like troubleshooting all of the techie things, right? Okay.
It's technical difficulties. The first minute to two.
Yeah, right. It's always going to be, I think, the most fun in the beginning. So if you jump on at the very beginning, you get to see all of the things that probably go wrong really, really soon. And then, just chat us, tell us you're here, say hello. Coach Holly and I, Coach Katie, are going to be talking all about the 3 top reasons that women should be strength training today. So this is really kind of a fun topic for us. So awesome. Yeah, Coach Holly picked the topic.
I did. It's your turn next week.
Will do. So yeah, before we get started, if you are here, just let us know, kind of help us see if the comments are working real quick. If you could, maybe give, either thumbs up or a heart or
kind of help us see if the comments are working. That's me. That's
me.
You?
Okay. Okay. I was like, oh no.
No volume. I was trying to see the comment.
Perfect. I think we've got this going. All righty. I want to see if I can do this. Oh yes, Lori says hi. Taylor made it. All right, this it's real. Yes. Okay, well, thanks for being here, Lori, Taylor, anybody else that's joining, thank you so much. So we're gonna kick it off with the 3 top reasons, and I think we're gonna probably come up with more, but 3 top reasons that women should be strength training or need to be strength training. So Coach Holly, give us number 1.
Y'all know we are all about some strength training, okay? Whether it's whatever level, like beginner, intermediate, advanced, no matter how long you've been doing it, if you are a female, you are doing the right thing. I really think a lot of times women question, am I doing what's good for me? Is this the best thing? But, I have thought about this a lot, and this is why I just have the top 3. Of course, we can say more, but we did have some comments before, like when I had put the post in, and I know that I think Taylor had hit my number 1. So my number 1 is bone density. Okay. Mm-hmm. Why is this so important for women? Okay. First of all, and this is why I have this number 1, in order to have the best life that you can possibly have, number 1, you need to not get hurt. As we age, your risk of injury increases no matter what you are doing. But if you strength train, you are going to decrease that risk of injury. I know you all have had grandmothers or parents or somebody in your life, because I can probably think of 2 or 3 right off the bat who have, as they aged, they got weaker, they fell, they broke something. I don't know why for women, it always seemed to be their hips, but I think of, grandmothers. I've had my son's great grandmother on his dad's side fell and broke her hip. And when she fell and broke her hip, y'all, it wasn't the fall that was so bad. It was her recovery. And if you don't break things, that is your best chance of leading a really long life, right? Because when you get that age, if you have not done anything to improve your bone density or offset the deterioration of it, so you're going to lose density in your bones over time. You are going to be able to strengthen your bones forever, but particularly in your 20s, you're kind of at the prime time. I always used to tell my kids in nutrition and wellness, if we talked about strength training, it's sort of like depositing into a bank account. So think about a savings account. So as you age, and if you can do it earlier, that's great. But if not, it's still okay. You're not too late. But you're depositing into this bank account. And then let's say after 30 years old, you're just pulling it out. You no longer can make deposits. you're only pulling it out. So think of your bones that way. And so you want to have that built up, but even if you strength train later, you are causing, like, you're not losing it as much. You know what I'm saying? So you may not be able to strengthen as much or deposit as much as you did in your 20s, but you're still decreasing your risk of injury by strengthening your bones. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the bones I think are a little bit different than the muscles though, because my top reason was definitely like maintaining muscle mass. And I talk, I guess from my standpoint of bed rest, right? So when I was on bed rest, like my biggest fear, because I'd done powerlifting competitions and I got pregnant with Walker, so our fourth child, and ended up on bed rest, like at the hospital, like they won't even let you move around. Right. And so of course, my biggest fears were kind of coming to fruition. And it was like, shit, like everything I'd worked so hard for, I'd been really kind of active through the pregnancy and that sort of thing as well. Like I was feeling like I was losing it. And of course, I did look it up. And yes, it's at like an, obnoxious rate. So typically women after 30 lose, I think it's like 8 to 10%, right? Over a decade of muscle mass. It could be 3 to 10. I might be wrong on that. You should check it. Do you know the number?
I mean, I want to say it's at least 1% per year. Like,
yeah, and
I think it's more, and I think it depends on where you're starting. Too.
Right. True. I think it was like up to 10%, I remember, over a decade, because I was thinking in 2 weeks on bed rest, you lose about 10% of your muscle mass. So as much as I was going to lose in a decade, I was going to lose every 2 weeks I was on bed rest. Yeah. And that was
it's worse. It's worse like after a certain, so like generally, so like, people freak out. And by the way, that was my number 2 is lean muscle. And my top 3 are all very close because they're all super important.
Yeah.
But my number 2 was to gain lean muscle mass, but not losing it is another thing. And so whenever studies have shown that, like, if you take time off, like, because people are like, well, if I rest, then I'm going to lose my muscle. But no, not until like, and it's really like you don't start losing until like 10 to 14 days. And y'all, that is of nothing, like zero. That would be like bed rest. And most people are not ever going to do that unless they're in that kind of a situation where they're made to stay in bed. So like scheduled time off is really good if you do it the right way. So you can use your muscles, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be killing yourself in the gym every day, because you're not letting that lean muscle recover if you're doing that, right?
Right. Yeah, because I was going to say, like, and we take that out of context a lot, and it's like, no, you can still be an active person. You don't have to necessarily be in the gym, right? Like,
right,
banging, repping things out, but being active, like, moving your body. I sometimes call some of my friends in the powerlifting world, and sometimes myself too, an active couch potato. So I have days when it's like, I feel like the only thing I did was that heavy lifting workout, and then I sat myself in front of my desk, or I moved my body just far enough to get to the couch for the rest of the day. And it's like, that's not okay either. You still have to maintain that level of activity that's going to keep that muscle mass from, depleting too. So.
Right. And sometimes, like, people think that, like I said, they think you have to be in the gym lifting to make any progress. And so I know, especially like if you have goals or whatever they may be, that you're like, oh, well, I can't take any time off. But y'all know that, like, for strength training, you are actually getting stronger when your muscles are recovering, not when you're in the gym. Okay. So you have to have enough rest. And a lot of times when people hit a wall in their progress, it's because they're doing too much, and their body needs a little bit of recovery more than they're giving it. Okay. So, if you plan your rest, you can have active rest days. But okay, so like for me, this week is a deload week for me. Does that mean I'm doing nothing? No. I'm actually probably moving more than I move on days that I lift. Now, I am lifting, but it's very modified. Okay. So the muscles are still stimulated. My muscles are still working. I'm trying to hit all of the muscle groups, but I'm trying to incorporate different things as well. Y'all know we tend to stick with what we like the most.
Yeah,
And,
we
you know,
do. Like, it's like this comfort zone, right? Ugh. Okay, so that was 2. So number
yeah.
1, maintaining bone density, right? And the jarring, I think the jarring of lifting weights is very helpful too. And so is, just that added load. What was number 2? Oh,
Muscle
maintain
mass.
muscle mass. That was mine. But it was my number 1. So what's number 3 for you, Coach Hallie?
So number 3 for me is because of the increasingly muscle mass, but also like maintaining it. Because like some people just, you're not increasing, but number 3 is like an offset of that gaining or maintaining lean muscle is an increased metabolism. This is why you lift. Y'all know, like if you lift more, you actually need more calories to maintain that muscle. So many people go through life and over years, especially women, like as you age, you need less calories to maintain your current weight. And why is that? Because you're losing muscle. Okay. So you don't need as many calories. So if you lift, guess what? You actually need more calories to maintain that muscle. So like what I don't want to do is I don't want to go through my life and every year have less and less calories. Like, because like food is energy and like it makes you feel good. If you're eating the right things, like it's amazing. But like, so increased metabolism is my number 3. What about you? Did you have
that was not on my list of top 1. So I had the bone density, I had the muscle mass, and then I had the mental health aspect.
Yes.
Like for me, like
that is definitely top 3.
Yeah. That's why I started lifting, because it was just like, I don't know if it was like why I started lifting. I think it was more of like anger and frustration and nowhere to like get that pent up energy. But that's why I stayed with it, right? Like, because it feels good. I'm like taking all of this, strength and confidence that I'm building in the gym, and I'm going out to, talk to people more powerfully. I'm standing taller. Like even my posture has improved, which just makes you feel more confident. Like your self-esteem just raises, as well. So that one for me was a big one, was the mental health improvement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mental component is huge, y'all, because that's going to actually drive everything, right? It's like what your brain thinks and believes, and like lifting really does increase that self-confidence level. So you're like more outgoing. You're more just like she said, you will probably like find yourself talking more. Like I know that when my boyfriend started lifting, granted he's not a woman, but when my boyfriend started lifting, like he's a self-professed non-people person, right? But everybody in the gym talks to him. And, when he first started, I don't think that he was quite that interactive with people. But as he has changed his physique with lifting over time, and it goes for men and women, but as he has changed his physique over time, he has like gotten more and more people approaching him, asking him for tips. And it's like, and so that kind of boosts his self-confidence too. And so he's way more vocal about talking a little bit too much. Cause like Lottie was on here, she knows I can't drag him out of the gym half the time because he's too busy talking to people. But like, so he likes sharing those things. So it does, like, it improves your self-confidence. It's like, when people notice changes, it's just the strength. I think the whole strength component is just such a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So before COVID, my husband and I were lifting a lot in the gym, and he always said that he was going to get me a shirt that said, "You can talk to me after I start stretching." Cause I literally, if I started talking to somebody, like you have those rest periods and then you want to get back and lift some weight again and then go back to that rest period. And as soon as I was like, just powerlifting looks really, really lazy in the gym, right? So you stand around or you're on your phone, like you're doing nothing.
You like one rep and then you rest for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it looks so like 2 or 3 reps, right? And then it's like we stand there for like 3, sometimes 5 minutes, like just standing there or doing, like maybe like walking around or going to the drinking fountain or something. I guess you can't do that anymore. But he literally was like so frustrated because then I'd get caught in conversation with somebody, or, you pass somebody on the treadmill that, and you're like, how's the kids? And I'd literally take like 10, 15 minutes and realize, shit, like now do I go back to that weight or do I need to like drop it and warm back up again? It was just like, but yeah. So the mental health.
You wear headphones at the gym. Like
oh,
hardly anybody ever talks to me at the gym. And Luke swears it's because people are scared of me. And I'm like, oh my Lord, people are not scared of me. He's like, you're intimidating.
I love that. I love that.
Maybe I just look like really serious when I'm lifting or something. I don't know. I'll get like veins popping out of my neck or something. People don't want to like come up.
I get the forehead one. Oh my gosh, we should make that a topic of all of the obnoxious things that kind of can happen at the gym that you're not prepared for. Let's go back to the mental health thing though, because yes, so you're more confident, right? You just like, you start to take that confidence out. But I think the stress thing for me was a big thing. So I was constantly like under a lot of stress, right? Yes. But I felt like once I was in the gym, and it's a different stress, but you learn how to kind of like control that stress, like in a controlled situation. And so things out in regular life then just weren't as stressful, or they didn't like trip me up as much, right? Like stress me out so much. Like I felt like I could take that on, so that was a big one for me, was the stress. Yeah. I felt like it reduced the stress. And that's probably why people always go, to the gym and say, this is my therapy, right? Like the hashtag, this is
total therapy. Yeah. Like, I mean, and y'all know, and I know people have heard me say that, like, I really feel like lifting saved my life, because I was on the verge of, and I'm not saying this lightly. I'm seriously, like, I was about to crack at many points over the past decade. And, the only thing that kept me focused on life was like that structure of the gym and lifting, right? And so, like, I don't know if y'all are big trackers and loggers like me as far as writing down like your sets and your reps and like and all this kind of stuff, but it's like that is its own form of therapy too, is like planning out what you're going to do that day. And I always tell a lot of my clients, look, write it down. Like, I've got my log, write down what you're doing for the day before you even go to do it. Put what time you're going to do it, because you know what? I hate to erase stuff from my logbook, right? So if I put it all down, that's kind of like, y'all know they say journaling like releases like your thoughts, right? And your stresses. So like that is kind of like my journaling. Like I will write everything.
We have to do one specifically on the different personalities as far as like journaling and tracking our workouts, because I am completely the opposite. I'm not going to share what I am here because I do want to keep you to about like, I think, 20, 25 minutes is a good time. Otherwise I don't think people watch them, right?
What time are we at?
I think we're at about 20 minutes, but we got on a little bit,
Well, we've got our 3, so like we can expand on that. I don't know if anybody that's on here
recap them. I think we should recap them, right? Yes. So, yeah.
So number 1 was bone density, and like tie for number 1 or 2 was lean muscle mass. And then we've got increased metabolism, and we'll say a tie for that is the mental health component. Okay, so all of those things are why women should strength train.
Yeah. How about we'll give you, those are the 4, and you guys can list them in order of in importance for you, because I think it's kind of like the importance is kind of maybe, individual, where.
Right. I want you to comment below in here, wherever format you are. If you see this on YouTube, or if you were here for the Facebook Live or whatever, comment below which one is most important.
Yeah, list them. So we want to know what order you would put them in. So bone density, muscle mass, metabolism, and mental health, right?
I think I might put mental health at number 1 now. Because serious, like y'all serious. It's like, and I will tell you that like the whole act of lifting and that structure and that confidence stuff, like that carries over into your whole life. Y'all, I mean, it's going to make a difference, like in your work relationships, in your ability to like stand up for yourself. Like if you've got crappy coworkers or something, you're just like, I'm not listening to that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to see over time, if you do this, like over the course of time, it's going to change like everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Lori said she definitely has the number one, definitely the mental health benefits. We had some more people joining. So as we're kind of wrapping up, but make sure you go back and watch the beginning of this. Give us your top 4 in your order. I would love to see it. Taylor says she's got muscle mass, then mental health, metabolism. She says she's 32, so not worried about bone density at the moment, but we can always work on it.
Yeah, but you should be, Taylor, because what you build now is going to help you later, right? Yeah. So you got to work on it because you don't want to be that old lady who falls and breaks her hip.
Exactly. But I agree, right? Like it is about what's important now. And maybe Taylor, doesn't have a whole lot of people in her family that have ever broken bones. She might come from a family that's got really good genetics for bone density, right? If you come from a family,
anybody break anything,
calls you out, Taylor.
But like, yeah.
So you never know. If you come from a family that's got a long history of depression, mental health is probably going to be the big one for you, right? If you come from, a long line of a family that's just kind of not been able to get that metabolism on board, or maybe just always been on diets and you don't want to be, the next in line to be on diets and have put your kids on diets, like that's going to be a big one for you, being able to kind of, move those pieces around. So it's fun. I'm really excited to see what you guys put in here.
And be sure to ask questions, if you have questions, anything related to strength training, post in here, put your order for the top 4, put what order you are in. Again, whatever platform you are on, comment, ask questions about strength training, whatever, here's the place to do it.
Yes. And so if you're watching this on YouTube or the podcast, though, make sure that you come to Facebook, join us in Women's Body and Power so you can interact with us directly. So yeah. All right, y'all, have an awesome day. If you have any questions, definitely, tag us in the comments or, make a post and tag us for sure, because we will always be there just waiting to hear from you.
Thanks, ladies.
I don't know how to stop it. Just a minute. You might have to keep smiling. Oh, shoot. I think it's over.
Yeah. Okay. It stopped.
Okay. Oh, goodness. That was fun.
You got to stop recording. Can you stop recording on the Zoom?
Oh, yep.